Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I hear you.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. All right, so we've got 40 minutes to get through the interview. Okay, so I'm going to start off the interview with some generic interview questions, and then we're going to kind of go into the industry focused interview questions, um, some situational ones, and then I'll open the floor up for any questions that you have for me.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about yourself.
My name is Stacy. To begin with, I stumbled upon um, my career path as a PSW by first starting in theaters and musical shows. I realized I really like to help people, make them laugh, be there for them. And I wound up taking care of an elderly gentleman. Let's call him David for the sake right now. And long and before you know it, I was slowly opening up the gates to becoming a home care provider. So I have experience in this field, and I believe it won't take me much to really progress in this field because I have the skills. That experience has shown me I had the skills as a compassionate person that enjoyed to work with people, communicate with them, hardworking. I enjoyed waking up even early, taking David to his medical appointments, reassuring that he takes all the things he needs to take for his meds. And yeah, that is when I really knew that this was the right field for me.
Okay, awesome. What would you say are your strengths and weaknesses?
Well, as I listed before, some of them um, are empathy. I can really relate to pain and people feeling alone. Um, so I believe that would be a very strong one inside of me. Another strength of mine would be to always be there on time, punctual, listening to the people, what they specifically want, what they need. I would say my weakness is um, that I have a big desire to grow as an individual. And you might be thinking, well, how is that a weakness? Well, sometimes I used to bite off more than I can chew. So I've learned in time to manage those feelings and remain calm under that kind of pressure, to want to continuously grow and learn and, ambitious overly. Sometimes I learned I really had to calm that setting down and remain present.
Why do you want to work as a PSW?
I think this time of my life, and at least for another decade or more, this is going to be the right path for me. As I mentioned before, my weakness to wanting to grow, I think will thrive here. That being said, I also believe that I can balance that out with wanting to remain present, to do something important, to help out people that really need help. And I just feel a surge of energy in me that feels right, really, really right to be in that kind of position, because I think at this point in my life, I have my health, I have my strength, and why wouldn't I wish to contribute whatever I can to the rest of the community that needs that from a person like me.
How do you handle stress in the workplace?
First and foremost, I remain calm. I balance out whatever the issue is versus the time. Variant on how dangerous the situation is, irregardless, it is necessary for me to remain calm and listen to whoever needs that help in that moment. If it is a more serious issue, it is my responsibility, even as a human being, to reassure that I call the proper authorities, that I tell the doctors, that I record the situation at hand that is occurring, that way it's on the records in case somebody might need it in the future, for the medical situation if they're unconscious, for instance. If it's a more minor situation, I will have more ability to be flexible with attaining to their emotional needs. Irregardless, both of those cases would require those kinds of needs, but that is really what I would be working on overall, a balance between those kinds of things in that scenario.
Okay, awesome. Describe a time you had to adapt to a new or unexpected situation.
Yes. I walked into the same client, David, his home. There were boxes everywhere, to the roof. And I've seen nothing like that previous to that example. So I watched shows about it, and I remember researching about it, but at hand, that was my first time. I had to adapt. So he was having an issue with the manager of the building because he wanted to evict him. And it was my stance from my relationship, my professional relationship with David, that took me in a spot where I knew that I would have to mediate between David's needs, David's worries, and the manager's concern for his insurance and safety of the building. So that was the case. I communicated calmly. I told the manager what David's needs were. The manager told me to talk back to David about what he found was necessary and important to change. And that was an uphill battle. And we slowly kept adapting, kept changing, and worked on the emotional balance and such to achieve the goal of David not getting evicted. I'm sorry, I can't hear you now.
Oh no, I'm writing notes.
Oh, sorry. I saw your lips moving. I wasn't sure.
How do you prioritize your tasks during a busy shift?
Important, little less important. So, I would say pills are very important. Meals, cleanliness, these things are highly important, and it's also variant upon each and every different client. So some people might know how to take care of themselves with cleanliness more than someone else. Therefore, my priorities can be relieved from that individual if it's a busy day and I have something that is much more serious on another hand. So, listening is necessary in that circumstance, listening to each and every one, and not just verbal communication, even body communication. Sometimes people will say one thing, do another thing entirely. And I think that is how I handle that. You know, I prioritize my things based on importance, also by time. I have to prioritize it by time. Certain things are situated by that. And also to squeeze in as much as you can to have fun and a lighthearted time when you're with different individuals. You know, because why would they want to be miserable through whatever they need or don't need to do? So, yeah, it's a balancing act, but one that I feel very confident I can do well.
Okay, awesome. What does professionalism mean to you in a healthcare setting?
Respect, respect, and more respect. So that means if someone needs to talk to you and they feel they wish to open up to you, you don't go around and start telling dirty laundry about other people that have consoled you, to you, spoken to you, entrusted you. Another thing would be honoring their timeline. So you know you're needed. They rely on you. So I would say being reliable. Um, and knowing what they want, hearing them out. You know, like if Robert, for instance, says to me, I don't like striped shirts, and I go out shopping for him one day and I buy it, that would be a very wrong decision. So, knowing their personalities, making almost a portfolio if necessary. And finally, once again, empathy. Empathy goes a long way because there are things that are said with a tone rather than with words or even body language. Unfortunately, people can hide a lot of things. So I think that kind of reliableness is important to answer the question.
Okay, awesome. How do you handle feedback or constructive criticism?
I handle it as a gift from the heavens. Because if I imagine I have the opportunity to not even have to network in that situation, have been told what I could change through spontaneity of someone else's experience. And then I can adapt, change, learn, and grow. That could affect everything. Performance level of how I take care of others, even my own growth level in the company, how others feel around me. So I take it as a big gift.
Great. What experience do you have with personal care tasks like bathing, toileting, and grooming?
So for myself, I do it. I make sure to be clean when I go in. For the client, it's a little more complex. Um, this individual that we named David, for instance, he was in need of disposable underwear. And he had a hard time wanting to do it. He didn't want to do it. So he would soil himself in those circumstances. And you would see This instant, he lost care, lost patience with himself. And I had to be that for him. And I had to be there for his own growth, his own level of growth, and try to help him stay as clean as possible. I had to be his determination. I had to be his supplier of goods. So I see it as a highly important thing, cleanliness. And also at the same time, to be understanding that they're not always capable of doing it to a standard that me or you, for instance, may or may not come to an agreement to because of whether or not they're capable or whatnot. So I take it as my highest responsibility because it's hygiene and it's health to do the best possible care I can do for any individual in that kind of circumstance.
Okay, this one you basically already answered for me. So I'm just gonna take a note here.
Okay.
How do you manage and document a client's care plan?
Up to date. I like to keep everything written down. And I always like to back things up. I will take pictures of such things. I'll take notes, add them as well onto calendars on what is necessary for another day or whatnot. So, keeping up to date, very important, writing everything down, writing timelines, writing situations, writing even notes on feelings and how they felt about each and every situation. And then you kind of have the ability through charting to read through, review, and carry on through the same habit for the next day.
Okay, awesome. Have you worked with individuals who have dementia or Alzheimer's? And if you have, what approaches do you use?
Gentle reminders, and yes, I have. And gentle, kind, compassionate reminders. So, variant on how the person is also feeling. If they're up for humor, you can inject some of that. Just remembering that they're human beings. And really, you become their memory book too. Because you have to sort of substitute yourself as their reminder. Really, you're becoming one almost with another person. So you become that section of the brain. You know what he or she may have to do. And you handle it like any other individual would.
What is your experience with mobility assistance? So, like lifts, transfers, fall prevention?
I can say from my experience, you can tell when somebody is having issues through their body language, when they're not able to walk, for instance, when they're not able to see, hear, you will catch on to this through hearing if it's not already disclosed in a chart. At which given point you accommodate for these dilemmas, let's call them, and you fill in. So if it's a hearing issue, I will be with, for instance, David, and I'll hear what he's asking or wishing for, and I will become his mouth and his ears to accommodate that lack. If it's another issue, moving physically, as mentioned previously, I might hold them, assist them with walking, ask them, do you need to sit? Take your time, don't rush, I can get this for you. Anything and such is available at my own energy level, not a problem. I can dispose of that and assist. So I would say paying attention closely is what would help greatly in that kind of circumstance.
Okay. How do you recognize the signs of abuse or neglect in a client?
Well, I notice things like that right away. Like, not only from my own past personal life, also physical, quite noticeable visually, how people might accidentally be afraid of everything. Anxiety that's over-induced than the average, depression signs, sometimes cleanliness is involved with that as well through depression. And I immediately handle it, a variant on the level. So like I said previously about different examples, if it's something that's immediately happening, I must call 911 and tell the doctor that's present on site, tell whoever is next in line that handles these kinds of documentations. And then, assist them as well, ask them if they need anything, and get whatever they need that's at my disposal for them. Afterwards, you wish them the best and you tell them that they can contact you anytime you need. And as well, ask around if they have things. You never know, maybe sometimes there are things in the setting that someone might have that you need, whether it's healthcare products for women, whatever is necessary in different circumstances.
Are you comfortable working with clients with behavioral challenges or mental health diagnosis?
Yes, very much so. To me, whichever diagnosis somebody has, it is their own journey and their own path. Once again, it's just another thing I will have to adapt to, variant on what the client needs. And I've been in situations like that where somebody might yell, so you remain calm on their behalf as well, and you guide them, you try to be their beautiful good guide, you don't cause any issues, don't escalate the tension. And yeah, I have absolutely no issue working in those environments.
how would you respond if a client refuses care?
Again, I love to document everything. I like to try to as well communicate with them gently, kindly, show them that I'm here to be trusted and I can be in any way helpful for them to transition from being uncomfortable, fearful, to being able to take the care that they need. If necessary, afterwards, I can discuss with somebody that would be higher up, a nurse, head nurse, variant on who, maybe even a doctor, who is in charge of that sector. And then we can handle it together as a group if must. But I am quite confident that most cases from my experience are not necessary to escalate it to any kind of level like that. I find from my experience people usually just need to be heard. And then they will do what they need. They know generally what is the right thing. But if they don't, you're there, you have those options.
Okay, awesome. Tell me a time about when you noticed something concerning in a client's condition. What did you do?
David, once again, we can speak about. He wasn't able to walk. He wasn't able to breathe properly. It was getting worse, not better. I noticed his legs were becoming inflamed. I spoke to him numerous times where he continuously kept disagreeing with my decision to go to see a doctor. I told him I would drive him, I would take him wherever he needed, whenever he needed, anytime he needed. And he waited. He went to see a doctor, they told him it's water. Water that is consistently growing into his leg because his kidneys were not processing it properly. And I encouraged David to go and get medication. He was reluctant. He had fears about it, and I kept encouraging him day after day to take it because it helped. He eventually took it. I broke into him and he took the pills he needed to take. But then he stopped as well. So, one day at a time, and you keep encouraging, you keep being there, and variant on the danger situation, you see when and where you have to escalate for more help. And that's what I would say is the best a human being can do.
Okay, describe a time that you had to complete multiple urgent tasks at once. How did you manage your time?
There was one client that needed everything on the same day. Needed food, needed medication from a doctor's appointment. Needed shoes that were specified for his feet because his other shoes' soles completely ripped off. I don't even know how on earth he did this. And I said, okay, get in the car, we're gonna go. I took him to every single spot, invested the time, got everything he needed. If one place didn't have it, we took it to another place. We called places, checked for everything, ordered what we needed, came back with bags, came back with tummies well fed, looking good, resting breaks. It was a full day, but everything was achieved through determination, scheduling, proper organization, and a good positive attitude. So that's how I handled those circumstances.
And last question here. Describe how you handle the emotional toll of working with clients nearing end of life.
I might look young, but I've been through a lot for my age. So, in some ways, things are surprising me, but I always go back to remaining calm and collective. Understanding everybody has their own journey. I can't be in control of everything. I'm only human, but I can dedicate myself to assisting in any way that I can. So, I don't think that any of us really, even though some people will say you have a certain amount of time to live, I don't believe we really know every detail, you know? I try to reassure the person that is in that kind of care and to be a positive figure, even more than average positivity, because they might be very sad, they may have regrets, all these things might be coming up. A whole new reality is being exposed to them, a different perception. So I try to make every day a very positive experience. And I remind myself that any day can be our last day. Therefore, there's no need to hold anything personally. There's no need to be rude, inconsiderate. You go out with your best foot forward. So, I want to be the best for those kinds of people that are in that kind of care.
Okay, great. And so this just comes to the end of the interview. Do you have any questions for me at all?
I have two questions.
Okay, great.
Do you have anywhere that I can post online for charity that I can organize for this kind of organization of yours?
We currently don't have anything at the moment, but that definitely could be something discussed later on.
Thank you. My second and final question is, when can I start?
So we are looking through some other interviews. So you can expect a call from us within the next couple of weeks.
Well then, all I'm left with saying is thank you very much for giving me your time. I greatly appreciate it, and I wish you all the best.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you have a great day.
You too, dear. Thank you.